Go.
Giuseppe's podcast. Giuseppe's podcast. Welcome to Giuseppe's podcast.
Hello, and welcome to Giuseppe's podcast, the podcast wherein I trick people to talk to me in the middle of the night. And today's victim slash guest is a good pal, Carlos.
Thanks for having me,
Hello,
Jayo, my man.
hello, Carlos. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah,
Musta
it's
na?
been a while.
Yeah. When was the last time
Nice.
we've seen each other? Hindi, ano no? Yung,
That con in SM.
what?
Yung
Yung
yung hobby
January?
work.
Yung January, yeah. Oo nga no.
Yeah,
Nandun ka
by
pala.
commenting.
Were you selling
Yeah.
there ba? Or tambay ka lang?
Selling, but just sketches mainly.
Yeah, same. No, like, cause may
For
mga
the past,
hobby, may mga hobby
yeah,
works
for the
kasi na
past,
ano tambay ka lang. You had work tapos you visited na lang,
yeah,
di ba?
yeah, for sure. It's like for the past maybe like 5 cons, I think I just sold sketches. Or yun nga, tambay lang. Yeah,
It's okay, man. We've all been there.
yeah. Mm.
Plus,
But
you're, ano
more
naman
or less,
you're busy with work na, di ba? Working
true. Yeah,
man.
super. Yeah, we're
Noise.
all super busy, dude. Like everyone I know from the comic scene is like busy with their day jobs now, either day job or
Yeah.
whatever side job they have.
Or families. Like, mostly families na So sad.
Actually, you'd be surprised. May mga mayanak na sa kilala natin.
Oo nga yun nga Like, man, we're
Yeah,
getting old. Yeah.
yeah, but like fuck that. I don't want kids.
Yeah, we need money for hobbies, not for
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can't afford no child.
Speaking of, parang it's been so long. Di natin,
Mhm.
lalo na dahil sa pandemic, we weren't able to like address yung what happened during the pandemic, which was si Ron Escultura. Escultura.
Oh fuck yeah, dude. That was
Yeah. Yeah, that was so sudden nga eh. I was like
yeah.
surprised na lang when I heard na heart attack or 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 something. I forgot. But it was like so sudden
Yeah,
eh. And it's like similar with Danry. Did you hear about Danry though?
I did not know. Is he also
Danry got heart attack. I think a month ago or 2 months ago. His was like during when people started going out na. So it was so sudden kasi parang he was like reviewing yeah he was like uh visiting those comic workshops ng Comiket na online shit, and then
yeah.
suddenly like a few days or something after nabalitaan siya, and then everybody is like, oh wow, that was unexpected, like we're losing so much
Yeah,
people.
that's true.
So
I
sad.
know, like, dude,
Andrew.
started with Andrew, right?
Yeah.
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 Didn't he die of a heart attack?
Uh, stroke, more of a stroke daw yung sa kanya eh. Like, according
Stroke. Okay,
to,
stroke.
yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to like say like how like the details kasi in respect to Amos na yun eh. Speaking of,
Of
have you been
course.
like
Yeah.
in touch
But
with
yeah,
anyone in the comic scene since uh ever since like I guess this year maybe?
it's just you and Amos really. And let's see. Um so far, yeah, just you two, really. I think I messaged Jeff once this year, but
Ano yun,
other
pang
than that,
birthday lang? Like happy birthday
yeah, something like that. Yeah. Then
Yeah.
yeah. Other than that, no one really.
Damn.
Um Miguel, I messaged Miguel.
Well, you've been busy.
Yeah, super.
You've been busy playing Ghost
I
of
haven't
Tsushima.
actually. You'd be surprised. I actually haven't been playing that for like a month now or two because I'm just never up when I want to stream because I only play when I stream, and I'm always asleep at
Wow.
my streaming hours. So it's like fuck.
There's
Yeah,
no reason not
but
to
yeah,
stream.
yeah. It's like because like I'm so close to finishing, so I've been thinking like maybe I should just play so I can finish it. But then I realized, since I'm almost this close to finishing, I might as
Yeah.
well stream it. But I'm just always asleep when I stream. I mean, I'm always asleep when I want to stream, so it's like I just need to find a bit of balance.
Pero you don't like consider like playing it uh off stream or kailangan stream talaga?
If I play off stream, I'm probably doing just like side quests or something. There's just so much. Yeah, it's like the game is that good. There's so much to do that you can
Really?
just like
Is
do
it
that.
like is it like what's that game I tried once? Witcher?
But
Or is it like Witcher where
similar to Witcher,
like the amount of like
similar to Witcher. Yeah.
the amount of side quests is like insane.
I
Like
would
it's
say I would say there's more stuff to do in Witcher and like Red Dead Redemption. I'd say there's more stuff to do in those games than in Ghost of Tsushima. But that it's because Ghost of Tsushima is a very linear story. You don't really branch out into anything in Ghost of Tsushima. I was actually like low key disappointed that it was pretty linear, but I liked it because the story is really nice and the side quests kind of like give you more stories to like enjoy. But the main story is still very linear. Like it goes one way.
like may mga paths na talagang binablock para lang you go continue the main story or no naman?
It doesn't block you. You can go through the main story without doing those side quests. But as for the main story, it just happens one way. Like and
Ah,
other than that, the ending. There's two endings. So other than that, nothing really. It's still very
pero
linear.
alam mo na yung
Because like
ending.
I don't know the ending. I just know that
Ah,
there's multiple endings because my
okay.
friends told me that there's multiple endings because they finished it. Even though it's funny because like all my friends only heard about Ghost of Tsushima within 2019,
Okay, yeah.
but I've been following the game since 2016.
Wow. How do you do like how does that
I was still in
happen?
college, dude. I was still. How does what happen?
Like how do you like find the game, like hear about it and like follow its process until like its development? Because you said 2016, which mukhang in-announce lang siguro by then, right? Or
It was announced, and I was in college when it was announced, like just on my laptop and like on my break, and then I find new trailer Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm like, oh, Tsushima, that's in Japan. Is it a samurai game? Then yes, it is.
so
I only
trailer
found
yung
it
nakita
because like
mo.
yeah,
Like
when it was announced because YouTube has an algorithm and shit, so like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
YouTube knows YouTube knows I'm a huge weeaboo for Japanese history. So the moment anything Japanese, the moment anything remotely Japanese pops up or samurai related, it pops up. It recommends it to me, and that's how I found out.
Is that how we're friends? Because of loser mangaka. You're like, oh my god, this guy has a mangaka on his name. This
This
guy
guy's a
must be
weeb too,
Japanese.
and it's like this guy's also a weeb. And then
Yeah.
yeah, but no, I wouldn't say that. Like I noticed you for your comics, like which is more than I can say about other people that I've seen, that I've met in the con
Team.
scene.
Yeah.
Like yeah, because like we weren't like beside each other or anything,
Yeah.
right? As
We
far as I
weren't.
can remember, I just like
One
yeah, I
thing.
just like the first thing I noticed. Yeah, the
Yeah.
first thing I noticed was just your fucking puns, and it just annoyed me to hell. But like, but I bought one anyway. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I every page I'm just like reading like,
Cringe.
fuck, what were your puns called? Your comic puns? Bad puns.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
bad
don't have to
puns.
feel bad calling it bad puns because you fucking named it that. So yeah, every time I got your first bad puns, and I'm like,
yeah.
every page it just gradually, ah. Get worse and worse.
I remember when I think we first met I remembered you sa Indicate meeting. There's like always like a meeting before the event. I think it was like a week before. Like
Yes,
para magpasa ng ID
Indicate. Yeah, yeah,
and bullshit like that. And then out of
yeah, yeah.
all out of all the fucking meetings I've been after that, yan lang yung meeting wherein someone actually said, "Can we introduce ourselves to everyone so that we would all have a name?" So we would, kasi like
Yeah.
the organizers like, remember the person you're beside, ah, kasi there might be some scammers or like some shit like that. And
Oh
then
no.
you were like the only
Yeah,
person that's like, like we can introduce ourselves, and then everybody did, which was cool.
yeah.
Pero like
It,
after
it
that, no one ever suggested that. Like any other meeting, everybody wouldn't really introduce or care.
that's fine. I guess everyone's just shy once in a while.
Yeah, that's how I remembered you lang. You and Faye. Faye kasi had like that got
Hey, I
yeah,
remember.
the hair,
Mhm.
and then you naman you were the one who like it asked us to introduce ourselves, and I'm like, oh god damn it. But this is cool kasi that was my first time eh.
God damn it! This asshole.
Yeah. But I'm like, oh, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, it's good because I don't know anyone here, so might as well like hear some names. And it
That's
was
fair. Yeah.
that was my first time, eh. So I was like, I don't know anyone here, and yeah.
First time with Indicate or first time with any con?
Para as a exhibitor, yeah, for almost any con. Kasi I
Oh, okay.
normally
Same.
went to like
Indicate.
anime conventions. Puro anime conventions dati. Ngayon, that was the only time na I was like, indie comics. Sige, let's give it a try. And then I joined as an artist, and then I was like like surprised,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
fuck, oh my god.
yeah. I don't know if you knew this, but Indicate was also my first con. Like when we
Yeah,
met.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that was
felt that.
that was me, JB, and Aljon, and Kirk. Kirk was there.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that was our first con, and then from then on, it just slowly like my if you notice like our booth, like us PHP, we were like 6, 7 people in one booth, and then gradually
yeah,
just became like it slowly dwindled down until it just became me, Kirk, and JB, and then
yeah,
gradually just me and Kirk, or me or JB, and then just me. If it's like
yeah.
if it's a non Indicate, or if it's a non Comic Con or Comicette like hosted event.
Yeah, I remember nga kayo yung yung kumuha ng kasi Indicate like gives you lang a small space eh. And
Super.
kayo yung like there were like 4 or 5 people at your table, and it's only good for like one and a half.
Yeah, yeah,
It was like,
yeah.
okay, wow, there are groups. Because at the time I was like, I didn't know na you could like do groups that big for like a small spot. I'm like, is that possible? God damn.
Yeah. To be honest, I think it's just because I didn't read like the email. Like I mean, I read the email. Obviously, that's how I knew where our table placement was. But
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't bother checking. Oh, 1 meter table. Okay, that can fit 4 people. you know. So yeah, because usually it's like what? It's like a 2 meter table, 2.5 meter table for like
Yeah. For the whole
for like
table, yeah.
for a full table. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
But
then they like kind of go half that for single people for like single exhibitors.
yeah. Uh, it was funny because I remember like I was hanging out with Faye when I went to Cebu. And then I told her that whenever like I'm at Cebu and I get to hang out with Faye, I always tell her na onti na lang yung mga kilala kong yung mga kabatch ko in
Yeah,
terms of like in the comics. Because that indicate where kasama kita. That was also Faye's first convention. And
really.
yeah, and I was remembered like I remembered everybody at that indicate because I like for me I visualized them like mga kabatch ko yan. which most of them like stopped, which is sad. Pero understandable.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I
Because there's
mean,
always those new batch of newbies, and we were that. So I was
yeah.
classified
But
na
you want to know something funny about the newbies in the comic scene? You know what I
right
noticed?
now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I noticed that a lot of them don't even have comics, which isn't a bad thing. Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah,
It's
I
not a bad
understand.
thing.
I understand.
It's an observation. You know what I mean? Like it's really just it's not even like I don't know how to say this, but
Like comics
they're
in
just
general, or like they have comic work, pero di nila binibenta, or is it
see
like
that's the
that?
thing. Sometimes I don't even see comic work. I don't see fan art. I don't see prints. I
Yeah.
see keychains. I see pins. I see
Uh,
stickers, which is cool, but like it's like this is starting to become an anime convention rather than a comic book convention. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
La-
Like
there.
when I first yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, no. Go.
No, I was just saying like when I first on my first con with or our first con, I guess, since we joined at the
Yeah,
same time. Um, I couldn't find a table that didn't have comics, and I was
yeah.
already late to the convention game, like 2014, 2015.
2015 tayo.
That was my first con, 2015. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and like I think conventions have been going on since 2004
9.
or 5, right?
Yeah, yeah.
9,
Fuck.
2000, yeah, something like that. So we're 10 years late to the game, and even then,
Mhm.
after 10 years, comics have been like the main staple. But now I would go as far as saying the main staple of conventions now are stickers.
Yeah. Actually, there was an issue about that with Comic Con. I feel like it was like 2016, 2017. Yeah, 2016. It became clear kasi when
Really?
around 2016, that was when 'di ba, a year after us, yung yung mga yung Indicat noon, it became mostly prints.
Merch.
Yeah, merch. It's so little There's even this table of this guy selling pre-loved comics. Like he was selling lang his old shit, and then he was able to sell all of that. None of them were his.
Won't that wouldn't that count as a wait? What do you mean? Like local comics or like Marvel DC?
Marvel DC. He was just
Okay,
selling
so wouldn't he
his
count as
collection.
a yeah yeah? Wouldn't he count as a
Yeah,
merch booth instead of an exhibitor?
pero hindi. It was like he had half a table with only half a table for him eh. And then yung na-sold out siya, he offered us the remaining the his space kasi tapos na siya. And we were like, what the fuck? You could do that?
I mean that's nice of him.
Yeah, yeah. No,
It's
like it
kind
was
of
like
nice of him, but
weird lang eh.
yeah,
It was like around
it
the
is weird. It's like yeah, I think because like yeah, because they were Comic Con like checks first, like through
yeah.
email, like, hey, what are you selling?
No, no, I
And
feel
then they'll
like
choose how to classify you
yeah. I feel like it
as
was
a merch.
around that year wherein they became more stricter with the
Strict. Yeah,
yeah.
I did notice because like gradually I feel like the emails about like what are you selling
Yeah.
became more and more. Hey, are you selling comic? Like I remember in 2015 on our first con, the first two cons at least,
Yeah.
2015, 16, all the cons I've been to, which is like maybe like 5, 6, 7 cons a year,
Yep.
if I'm lucky that I get to exhibit in all of them. Um, they would just be very general questions. What are you selling? And I just be like stuff. And it's like they're like, okay, cool. Yeah, I wasn't even specific. I just said
Yeah.
comic related stuff. In the I didn't even specify that I had my own comic. I just wrote comic related stuff
Yeah.
because like to
Ngayon
me it was
ano
just
eh,
like
you have to
fan
like
art comic. Now they're
ngayon
specific. They're like, do you
yeah.
have an original comic book or are you selling like Marvel DC stuff? And it's like, okay, I see what's going on. Yeah,
Yeah.
now that makes sense.
They
But
make you name nga their comics eh, the shit that you're selling. Para, like, let's see if he has actual comics. What's the name of your comics? Tell us right now.
yeah, exactly. Tell us right now. Give us a JPG, right?
Yeah.
Right? They ask you
Yeah,
for
they
JPEGs and shit.
ask. Which,
They ask
yeah,
you for a JPEG of your comic.
I feel like it was around 2016 because 2016 was when Asia Pop arrived, and also
Yeah.
like the whole
Mhm,
boom,
mhm.
like when
Oh, about APCC though.
yeah. No, but anyway, I
Yeah,
feel like 2016 was
yeah,
the time na conventions became cool. Because that was also the time na like almost every like that was slowly becoming that year where in every month there would be a convention. There's an Asia Pop.
that's true.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what has happened? The ToyCon became bigger, and so on and so
Definitely.
forth, which uh made spark like how there were these merchandise booths that were like slowly trying to get in comic conventions. I don't know, it's a Comic Con. Yeah, Comic Con had to like
Mhm,
be clear on like what to sell there. Yeah, they became
yeah.
stricter. Uh, uh,
Mhm.
yeah,
I mean, if you ask me, like, as long as they can like pay for their booth, let them, right? But I also get like the convention like company organization. I don't know what to call
yeah,
them, but yeah, I don't know. I also understand, let's say like, for example, Comic Con. I understand their worry about like what you're selling, because like I'm sure they'd like to uphold their name, Comic
yeah,
Con, so
yeah.
it's a comic convention. I'm sure they would want at least 70% of their booths or 60% of their booths selling comics, and then 40% whatever else.
Yeah, because I remember it was like that 2016 Indicat we're in. I don't know if it's 2016 or 2017, pero may part kung saan nag-dwindle down yung mga new batches of comic creators. Like there's so little new batch of comics.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
what happened was like there are plenty of people who were just doing uh selling prints or doing commissions na lang. Like they weren't doing they had no comic to sell. Which is
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. I noticed that because like um I noticed as the years went by since our first con, every time I go around like circulating the convention floor,
yeah.
like going, visiting tables, looking at people's art, um, my trips around the con area just got shorter and shorter. Like
Yeah.
I'd walk around faster because like I just see less shit.
Yeah.
And by shit I mean like stuff I like, which is comics, obviously. Because
But
I'm not really one for stickers or like or pins or other types of merch. I don't even like prints, to be honest. Like I don't
same.
really, because like I have no place to I don't have any place to put them.
Yeah, we don't have
Like
walls.
I mean we have walls. We just don't want to put shit on them because
Dudumian lang.
the hassle. Yeah, yeah, the hassle. And it's like, unless you get one of those like fucking magnetic things that you can pin to a wall,
Wow.
that's easily removed, like magic tape. It
Ah,
doesn't
yeah,
leave a
yeah,
mark.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah, those things. But even then, it's too much trouble.
Yeah, you have to get tape. Yung ano nga, tawag dito. One thing also I noticed was like I went from like yung first convention ko, like our first convention. I never made any money there kasi I spent all my money on buying comics. And yeah, like all the
Nice.
money I got was spent
We've
to
been
like
there. I've been there.
circulate the economy. And then after like the following years, it became like less and less. Like I started buying less comics. It wasn't because I was like choosy or picky. It was because like there were so
Lack of
little.
options.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Lack of options.
it was kind of sad.
It is pretty sad.
And
Like I
it's
actually
like yung sa akin kasi I prefer like more newer than like this person's a friend, I'll buy their work again. It's more of like this
yeah,
person's very new, I want to check out his work. More of like that.
exactly. That was exciting, right?
Yeah,
Like the last time I bought a comic from a new face.
yeah,
Maybe it wasn't a new face. Maybe he was just there the whole time. I just didn't see him
yeah,
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's so many booths. It was a like a manga type thing. It was
Okay.
like the style was manga anime. The comic is called Kahel, if you've heard of it.
What? What's it called?
Kahel, like Kahel, orange. The fruit.
Okay,
Kahel.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah,
met the artist yet.
Tagalog, Tagalog word for orange, and it's like an action supernatural, like yeah, action supernatural. It was pretty cool. I liked it, and yeah, that was the last comic I bought. That was like from a indie dude
Yeah,
that was new that I didn't see before because like I think that was just his first.
convention. Yeah.
That was his first. Yeah, because he was only selling issue number one or something. So I'm like, oh, this guy's new then. So I don't know if he's been selling this issue one that for the first time or if it's been going on for a while. But I
Yeah.
do know now that there's an issue two of that comic, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But there hasn't been any conventions since.
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of
yeah,
sad.
but like I forgot who made it. I'm sure if I get the comic and I get the name, I'll find out who it is. But
Yeah.
that's my last memory for buying a comic book. I don't know. What about you, dude? Like, do you still remember the last time you
Comic.
bought a comic book, not like comic
Com.
strips, like
It's so
like
hard.
a legit.
So hard to say because I've become like one of those people who just remembers that this person, I keep seeing them around here. I'll buy their work.
Mm,
And
yeah.
there most of the time I barely like get to read it. Yung mga comics na
Mm-hmm,
yun. I think the
mm-hmm,
last one time I bought was February comic yet. So yeah. The comic the most of the time became stickers or whatever I could get na lang
yeah,
just
yeah,
to show supports. But yeah,
yeah.
the rest of the time I really try to I try to emphasize more on the comic kasi uh I
That's
want
true.
I want
Oh,
people to make
another
comics.
another thing. True, but excuse me.
Hell yeah.
If excuse me again. If we don't buy comics, I think you also do this, but for me at least, I get if not comics, I get like a commission. Like I ask them to draw something for me.
Ooh, I there was a time I used to do that. Pero
Mhm.
I back then I had bad puns. I had original characters to get people to
Ooh,
draw.
ooh.
Yeah, original.
Yeah.
Ngayon ano they will try to draw me and I'm like, fuck. No thanks. I'll just
Ah,
buy
fuck.
your
Yeah,
comic.
pass.
Yeah, don't draw me,
Don't
please.
draw me. Let's And when they ask for an art trade, ooh, I'll draw you. You draw me, and you're like, nah.
I can draw you. Just don't draw me.
And then yeah, oh, I want to draw you though. It's, nah, you don't have to. Don't trouble yourself. No, really, I want to. Shut up.
I said don't draw me.
I said, don't draw me.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's what I would do if I didn't really. I don't want to sound mean, but that's what I do if I don't really like what's on the table.
but it's still, I don't know, it's still something compared
Yeah,
to,
yeah. It's
uh,
it's still what they're offering, so I'm like, all right, I want this then.
yeah. May mga ganun na akong
You know.
nakikilala eh. Like, there's some people who just want me to draw them or like someone versus like buying my comic, which is understandable. Still money. It's Gucci.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. And it's also like depending on what you want to get in a convention, like really depends on your taste.
Yeah.
Like for me, for example, like I only like Marvel DC comic type shit or comics with
You basic.
you know ish,
Yeah.
anatomically correct people drawn superhero shit,
Yeah.
and as the years go by, I feel like comics have been like just started to become more cartoony, if that makes sense. If you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Actually,
Like
it's
a lot of the
true.
comics. Yeah, you think so? Because like I've seen a lot of
Mm.
comics nowadays, uh, in the cons that we go to. Even if I'm not exhibiting, if I just
Yeah.
walk around, I see people's comics and they're all very cartoony,
Yeah.
like 2D cartoons. Like you know what I mean? Like um, I don't know what show I should use as an example,
Steven Universe.
but that's way too cartoony, I think. But I have,
But yeah.
I'd say that's like borderline chibi. well,
Ah,
not the stone women, but Steven himself is practically a chibi.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. Stone women. Those are gems, not stones.
sorry, same thing. All right, but like yeah, the stone women. But oh, okay. Here's an example. You know the show. You know the fucking show Primal.
What?
You know the show Primal.
Not what channel?
Not on Cartoon Network anymore, but it's from the makers of Samurai Jack
I think
and
yeah, my
well,
dad watches it. He loves the violence in it.
exactly there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I see comics now becoming like that, like very cartoon ish styles, which is cool. But I
Ah,
don't really see
like
those.
like Samurai Jack art style with and
Yeah,
team or di
cartoony. Yeah,
naman, yeah.
basically. Yeah, basically. I'm saying like I don't see any art styles like
Manga.
Marvel DC.
Ah, yeah.
Like anatomically correct bodies, like buff motherfuckers, in tight suits.
I feel like those type of things slowly faded, mostly because of like
It did
uh
fade.
what
It was the people that we were tabled with who made that kind of art style.
yeah,
Jeff,
yeah.
Ron,
Uh
I, Andrew to a degree. His was kind of cartoony, but you could still see
I
the
think
comic.
Andrew
The
made his more cartoony. He leaned his na like he leaned it to
He leans
cartoony.
more cart.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he draws like newspaper comics, right?
Yeah.
But you can see the comic influence, like from
Yeah.
let's say Marvel or DC, because like he and Amos grew up like super geeks and shit.
Si ano,
So
si
that's super
Aaron.
cool.
Kilala mo ba si Aaron? Menu?
I don't
No.
think so. No,
Okay. Kasi parang ganun
maybe
yung
by
art
face.
style. Yeah. Yung art style
Hmm.
niya was like that. He made Guapo Man. I think it's Guapo Man. I'm not fucking sure. But
Feliz Menyo.
yeah, Feliz Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Parang ganun na art
I
style.
know a bunch of parents. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, I know. I have Guapaman here in my
yeah,
collection over there somewhere. Somewhere there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Parang
I have the one where I think I have his like collection because
the
I have a
color blue
single
one.
issue of Aquaman, not the blue one, the black one, and I have a single issue where the cover was drawn by uh, Steven Segovia.
Ooh, hear that, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm like
He's gonna sell
I
that
remember that shit.
and make
I
bank.
remember that shit.
Ta-
I
At ano
remember
eh,
that shit,
di ba
and it's like
meron ka
yeah,
rin cover ng Agila made by Aaron, di ba? Or was that someone else?
no,
Well,
I have so many Aguila
yeah, yeah. Never mind.
issues drawn by different people, so I'm not entirely sure at the moment.
Well,
Aaron,
anyway, speaking of
I
like
think I do.
art styles, yung thing is like I think recently that yung ganun na art style that you were talking about started to fade, mostly because of like the age of the people going into comics right now, since they're like mostly young teens or like people
Tweens, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah.
people that I can't say our age, like people who became more influenced with recent cartoons and
That makes sense. Yeah,
yeah, and also it also like intertwines with like the comic cat type of demographic. Pansin mo naman yung comic cat
yeah, that's true.
demographics for young people. And then whenever
Yeah, yeah,
they finally get their chance on like making a comic and they want to show it off, they'll go to Comic Con
yeah,
and what would
yeah.
happen by again? Something basically the swarm of comic cat people. Because comic cat was the reason na biglang dumami yung mga artists in the scene for me, especially like young artists. It was comic cat mostly, because they were doing
I think
merchandise.
yeah, yeah. That's where that kind of stuff shines in comic it, and
Yeah,
more power to them. But I also feel like I don't know if this is a negative, but I feel like it crowds the market
yeah,
or it saturates the market when there's so much merch available.
yeah.
Like I'm not saying people should stop selling merch, but I feel like they should like also make more
Variants,
um
like variety. I mean,
no comics like
ah,
shit
yeah,
in
yeah,
like like comics in general. Like I feel like that's where the whole convention thing should like focus on, like in spirit, because that's where that's how it started as a comic book convention, like made by people who grew up on comics, love comics, and wants to spread and start a culture of comics in the Philippines.
See,
Um, I'm not saying merch is bad,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
like I feel like we don't have enough comics, and I think you and I can agree on that.
yeah, yeah. That was when ano I think it was like I'm sure it was last year. It was last year when
Mhm.
Comiket became more strict in the people who register towards them. I'm not kasama ka sa org. No, just kidding.
Comic Net, yeah, I am. I used to work for them.
No, like basically what Comiket did was like they would prioritize people who were comic creators versus merchandisers lang. And there was like
That makes
more
sense.
they
Yeah,
had
they
more
want to give the slots to
yeah, yeah. There was more space for the comic creator versus the merchandiser. Kasi they do know na uh but I think there was like this one comic at na it was so obvious na parang oversaturated na yung market. Because it was all like everybody was like almost selling the
merch.
same thing. Yeah. And
Just merch.
yeah,
Okay.
everybody was doing merch. And it's like
So
the
what's the issue?
I mean, it became so bland kasi the oversaturation nga because everybody was just selling merch. What happened was it became more of like a merch bazaar wherein or there was a lack of original work.
Bazaar. That's what I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And uh
No,
every
see, that's the thing. You gotta be careful with that, because like a lot of people will say, "How dare you? Just because we're selling merch doesn't mean we're not creative." And I'm like, I always have this argument with people who sell merch, and I'm like, I'm not saying you're not creative. I'm saying the products you're making aren't creative. Like,
yeah.
because like it's everyone selling pins, everyone selling stickers, everyone selling bookmarks. Bookmarks are fucking huge now. In cons, the fucking like you see that shit, like the fucking
I
Game of Thrones bookmarks. Like, you don't work for HBO. What are you doing? And like you
yeah.
could say the same for me. I don't work for Marvel. Why am I making a Superman print?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, yeah.
DC. But same thing, same thing. But yeah, so that's exactly what I mean. Like, everyone's selling prints, everyone's selling blah blah blah. So um that's what I say to people who say like merch is just as creative as comics, and I'm like, I don't see
Yeah.
a narrative in your stickers, my dude. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
also
no
like
diss on
we
merch, but
spent more time with comics than a sticker. Like a sticker
yeah,
can take
absolutely,
like an
completely agree.
hour or two.
That's not even yeah, that's not even a fucking debate at this point. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think anyone can debate that
Yeah,
anymore,
yeah, yeah.
to be honest.
True that.
But wait, so what was the issue? You said there was an issue last
Oh
year.
yeah. It was no. There was a point wherein it became oversaturated because everybody was doing it became more of an art market, and
Uh,
then like what's the point of having it called Comic Head when there aren't any more comics? It's
barely any
similar.
comics.
It was
Yeah,
also the same thing with Comic Con, eh? Because Comic Con, like 2018, more on 2018, they became more strict, like comics only. If you're gonna be
yeah,
an art market, you'll pay more. Basically, that's what Comic Con did, and uh Comic eventually followed the same route wherein they started promoting more people to make comics because that's where their what's that their values leaned towards, like the creation of comics versus just art prints and fandom, yeah, their fandom na lang, yeah.
yeah. That's fair. Yeah, yeah. So I agree. Like, it's comic at to a degree is an art market,
Yeah.
but not it's still a comic centric event. obviously.
Ngayon ano, yeah, they eventually switched it up because yun nga they implemented like
Switch it up to,
the whole
yeah,
comic creators are priority versus um merchandisers, which is a
yeah, yeah.
good step up. Because I
Yeah.
remember
I
ano,
can imagine. I can
what?
imagine though, like I can imagine the merch people like complaining about like, why are you prioritizing them? What about us?
Yung ano nga eh, speaking of like that, I remember that I
Uh,
had
yeah,
me and Gio, kilala mo si Gio's Desk, di ba?
of course, yeah.
Uh,
You're the only two
uh,
Geos I know.
yung there's this Asia Pop event where yeah, year wherein katabi namin was a uh ano tawag yung sa creative circle tayo, di ba? That's the name of their artist alley, which is
Yeah,
weird
creative
pero
circle.
yeah.
Whoa.
And yet sa loob ng creative circle na yon, we were beside a merchandise booth. And we were like super annoyed because uh we as like since we registered for Asia Pop, we know like the prices. We know that the merchandise booth is more or less like twice the amount of a art of their creative circle booth, and seeing them like manage to like sneak in through that type of like they're calling they like either have to go to like one original uh product and then the rest are like fandom or rip-offs, and it's so weird that they were able to do that because it like it
I get what you mean.
you
So it's
know
like, yeah, they got away with the creative circle booth instead of a merchandise
yeah.
booth, which would cost more.
Yeah, and it's because like
Yeah.
they were like they had this
But
excuse that or may original works
our merch is
kami.
original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is which is if you make original fandom merch, that's okay, but try not to like like have like that should be like majority of your work, like original products at least, not
Yeah.
like or original fandom merch, hindi lang yung ano like some there because they had like shit that looked like sobrang ano kuha sa internet lang, yung mga ganun na type shit, like yung mga
Yeah.
kuha sa Google and bullshit, like
I
it was
think,
so
yeah, I think that's really,
it was cheating
it
na eh.
offended you.
It was cheating
Yeah.
eh.
Actually, you make a good point. That actually that does make sense. Like I get why you'd be frustrated, but at the same time, I think you have to like blame like
Asia Pop, yeah.
A- Asia Pop for that. They don't screen their
Yeah,
exhibitors like Comic and Comic Con does, which is good, obviously. Like especially when you said Comic was prioritizing comic creators.
yeah,
I think I actually did kind of hear about that. I didn't hear an issue though. I just know that suddenly like they get a lot stricter with the application forms, especially with
yeah.
like what they're selling.
I think
Um,
I think it's also or because of that Asia Pop and other events, like people started voicing out and that yung parang yung unfair yung unfair treatment if you're a merchandiser with like a very small percentage of original work and you could sneak into that
yeah,
original content creator because everybody started doing it like the one with the indicate wherein someone would have let's say one comic and then and yet majority of his boot is fan art, so he's able to cheat the system by just having that one comic that's like super small, like takes up super small space versus like a wall of his fandom merch, parang nagiging ganon.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
you know that's like people been
Yeah,
being sneaky.
that's true. I agree. That is kind of fucked up, especially if they use that just for the sake of getting into the whole
Yeah,
original art scene. But
yeah.
when in fact you're like 90% merch,
Yeah,
you know,
it's annoying.
I
Yeah.
get the frustration. Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I'm not
Surprised.
Like I haven't done, not that I haven't done that because obviously, you've been to my booth.
Yeah.
The only the only original thing we have there is our comic.
Yeah.
Everything else is merch. But you know what I mean? Like half our table is the comic. Like we will spread out the fucking comic. We will like put rows and rows just for the comic, and then the other side we would actually like we would like squeeze all the merch together just to make more room for the comics most of the
Yeah.
time.
Basically, like
And that
the fandom is a side hustle, not the main hustle.
yeah, exactly. The merch should be
Side
the
hustle.
extras.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be the extra. It shouldn't be the main attraction
Yeah.
for a Comic Con,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
or
yeah.
Comic Con. But I feel Comic Con should have a little more leeway on that because it is a comic and arts market. But
Yeah.
I like that they're focusing on comics now,
Yeah.
especially with how kind of saturated the scene is with merch. Which again,
Yeah.
no diss, but I just want to see more comics. It's never
Yeah.
bad to want more comics in this day and age in our culture, our geek culture, because you don't see that very often. You want to know something I do see
What?
when it comes to comics? I see a lot of um like manga type art, which is cool. It's
I thought you
not I'm
just
not
said there
super
were
into
it was
manga, but
mostly
that's cool.
cartoon, tapos ngayon manga. Ano ba?
For comics, for like manga related stuff, I see a
Yeah.
lot of like anime style drawings and stuff.
Yeah.
like really really anime, like people like Filipino indie creators trying to become mangakas, like fucking not
No,
not
no, na
not
may
like what you're doing.
yeah, kilala
It's
ko
just a
yung mga
name for
ganun.
you.
Yeah. I have a few
Yeah,
friends
which is
that
cool.
do
I
that.
like. Yeah, I actually like that. I didn't see that before, but now that there's a lot more manga people like anime, and I'm not sure if they identify as mangakas, but or if they still call it comics.
I think they still
But
do. Yeah, they call it comics, pero they just go with like they call it anime or
yeah,
manga style.
yeah, because otherwise they'd like maybe if they want to take the whole fucking mangaka persona, they make their art like from left to right or left to right.
Yeah, they go full weeb, man. They go full weeb.
Never go full weeb, but nah, I go full weeb. But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
so there's a comic scene and there's an anime scene, which is like it's a fine line when you kind of like when you explore that side of the convention, or on a person's booth, like
Yeah.
when you want to check out their art, you kind of like wonder like this is borderline anime, like something I'd see on GMA in the morning,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
it's nice to see, like especially with the whole um what's that animation called, the basketball thing that we made.
Barangay 143.
Yeah,
That it?
that thing,
Yeah.
the basketball anime. Yeah, the basketball anime. I think that's super cool. I've
Yeah.
seen I've seen I've seen like an episode, like
On
I
Netflix.
didn't like no, on YouTube. I saw like
uh,
clips, like compiled clips.
okay.
I'm not a fan of the voice acting, to be honest, but the anime is pretty cool. I like it. Like I think it's good. I definitely expected less from a Philippine production, but then
Yeah.
again, these are animators from the Philippines, and I don't think you're gonna find a harder working animators than the Filipino animators. Like fucking all the fucking animation studios outsource from us.
Yeah,
So it's
and
like
they outsource for so cheap. Hurts.
that's super sad truth. Did you know Aljon animated Big Hero 6?
Which Aljon?
Gumawa ng Agila.
Ah, okay. Damn, man.
Yeah,
So many names.
he
Yeah.
he he animated for Big Hero 6, like the
The
Disney
cartoon. Yeah.
a cartoon. Yes,
Yeah,
he
they
animated.
yeah.
Well, he's part of the animation team. Like he's the one doing the frameworks and
May
shit.
mga friends ako. I know some of the people behind the production of that. So I was like, oh,
Mm. Yeah, so parang
yeah,
in-outsource
outsource
siya, and I'm
dito.
like, yeah, and it's like, wow, Disney outsourced my friend. And I'm like, damn, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. And it's just so sad to see that he's not fucking rich.
Yeah,
Like
nah.
when you work for Disney, probably one of the biggest companies on earth, and you're stuck here in the
Yeah.
Philippines.
I mean, I get
Yeah,
surprised whenever I find out like animators' salaries. So like there I used to have work. I had a job, and I was
I
making
know.
more. Like I was already minimum wage, doing just pressing a print button, and then I was still
And
making
you're
more
still making better
money
than you
than
were. Yeah.
I was making more money than an animator. Like I was making more money pressing
Sorry.
a print button versus some guy who does like frame by frame drawings every day. Like that was a
Yeah,
sad
dude.
truth.
Story of our lives, man. But like, it's the Philippines. It's what you
Yeah.
get for being Filipino, for living here.
Why
Or
was I born
you know,
Filipino? We need to isekai this
actually,
shit.
it's not even. It's a kind of shit. But you know what I mean, right? It's not even about being Filipino. It's more
Yeah.
like being Filipino and choosing to be, like an animator, and it's like kind of you dug your grave with
Yeah.
that choice. And I'm like, I'm not saying I'm not trying to diss animators because I feel that pain too. I
Yeah,
chose to
yeah,
be a
yeah.
graphic designer, and it's like I barely get any projects. Even before the
Yeah,
pandemic, I barely got any
I
projects.
chose to be a comic artist in the Philippines. Like, who the fuck does that? And
Exactly.
and
We did.
and
We
on
did.
it,
We
like
tried to make it.
I chose indie like over. I don't want to get published.
See,
Don't.
that's the thing. I don't believe having a publisher helps in the Philippines as an indie comics guy. Because like,
Yeah,
let's be honest, if you were published, you would still,
suck.
you wouldn't
Yeah,
be able to live on your own.
yeah,
You wouldn't be able to support yourself. You wouldn't be able to support a family.
yeah.
I dare I say a dog. You wouldn't be able to
Si,
support a
kaya mo
pet,
si Carlo Vergara, yung Zaza
of
Saturna.
course.
Yeah, of
Yeah, of
course.
course.
He ended up like talking about yung financial shit of his book deals, and then there's a part wherein I might be paraphrasing, pero he said that, di ba, he has a book deal with whoever has who whatever publisher, and that book deal like goes through all national bookstores, and even though may ganyan siyang book reach, a publisher and shit, he only gets like 10% royalty for every
Of
sale,
course.
which
Of
is
course.
mine. That's like net sale. I think it's called net sale. Basta yung natitirang pera after like all
Yeah,
the deductions, and that's like more or less than like, let's say, 10 or 20 pesos per book. That's all he makes per book.
well, well, it's also partially because um like the cost to make the
Yeah.
book and the price he chooses to sell the book. He has to think about that when he gets a publisher because a publisher is going to definitely take a
No.
big cut of all of that because they're going to be the ones printing it.
Yeah.
So
But
naturally, they're going to want the printing money back and a commission. So he can't price the books way too high. So
yeah,
um,
but
the fact that he
basically it shows nga na like getting yourself published uh isn't,
doesn't,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, it's definitely the
cause
best thing ever.
si Toto Madayag yung libreng comics, 'di ba, he's everybody's go-to story whenever it's talking about like self-publishing, kasi siya ano
Hmm.
maliban sa
He does everything on his own.
yeah, cause he crowdfunded yung book niya, which is,
Still his, yeah, that's still doing it
yeah.
himself. Yeah,
And when he crowdfunded his book, that's all yung so that's almost like zero cost from him in the printing. And then when he sells it, he earns all of that back.
for
So
sure.
that's like, let's
Full
say,
support. Yeah,
yeah,
complete.
that's uh like, if in terms of like making money, yung self-publishing does work in favors more than getting yourself a publisher. Yung perks lang
Yeah,
siguro that I see right now when getting a publisher is yung reach lang siguro. Cause
reach. Yeah, 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 for sure. Definitely reach.
yung ano eh, like yung Zazazuto nila is nationwide, while Totomadag's book he has to ship them direct manually going across the nation. So and yung sad parts lang of being indie is like you have to do everything on your own versus having people.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. But again, back to the whole having a publisher doesn't completely solve your problems.
Yeah.
Um, just because you're published doesn't mean you're gonna make it here because again, this is the Philippines. I don't think anyone's gonna we don't really have a big market for comics to begin with, not like the US. Like if you
Yeah.
get a shout out from like anyone in the US, anyone notable in the US, a simple
Yeah.
like a simple following from that shout out can like fund you for like you know a bit, quite a bit. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
here, if you fund your own shit and you sell it at cons, you'd be lucky to break even. You know, and
That'd be
that's fucking
true.
how it goes. Like my first like our first convention, like we sold every last comic book we printed,
Yeah.
and we just broke even, and a little change.
Yeah.
Um,
It do be like that.
yeah, yeah, definitely, and it's like it's also very
Tiring.
the convention culture is very different from the Philippines versus like let's say the US because like I don't know if you've seen like how exhibitors are in those conventions, but the art exhibitors there, like the people who make their own prints and shit and
Yeah.
comics, dude, shit's expensive. Like
Yeah.
they're basically they're pricing their shit as high, and I'm talking about the indie people. The indie people are pricing their shit as high as our local Marvel DC artists. Like
The Jerry,
sila
yeah.
Lionel,
Yeah.
sila Jerry, sila Lionel, sila Miko Sawayan, Steven, Harvey,
Yeah.
nag-guest sila sa convention, 'di ba? Mahal ng mga commission nila. Libo-libo.
Yeah,
Lalo na
yeah,
si Lionel Yu, 4,000 ng minimum ng convention niya, 'di ba? Commission niya, 'di ba? Or something. Basta taas,
Damn.
taas.
Yeah.
So in the US, they charge you like $15 for like a quick sketch. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, it do be like that.
and it's and it's like for me to charge $15 for a sketch, I will be working on that sketch all day,
Yeah.
you know.
Same.
And it's like for them, and then
Uh,
for them, it's just like $15. You get a 2 minute headshot of Thor, no shading. just
yung ano nga
it's like what?
there's some Kickstarter books that I bagged from like the US, and lahat
Yep.
sila, or at least majority, didn't had like this option wherein you had to pay like an extra $5 or $10 if you want it to be signed. Which is like, I'm like, what? You're charging people to sign your comic? Nani?
Are these big names or
Nah, those are the
just are these
indie.
big
These
people
are
or
web comics, man. So, yeah. Uh,
uh,
and people were
you're
actually,
charging
and people were actually getting the whole. They were plenty line up like pledge towards the getting the signature part, and I'm like, wow, it's a good thing I'm friends with this
you know what?
artist.
Just have it signed yourself. To be honest, like if they can milk the system, I say good for them. They found a way to milk the
Yeah,
system
yeah,
in a way that the public accepts it,
yeah,
and the public is willing to
yeah,
fund it.
yeah.
Good for them.
As long as
More
people
power to
are
the
willing,
artists.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm just saying here that shit wouldn't fly. Paying
Imagine,
for a fucking signature? You kidding me?
imagine like,
I see some artists signing. I see some artists signing the shit before they even like give it to the person with whether or not they ask for it. I'm just like, and you want to like charge. You want to charge people for signing shit here in the Philippines? That's not
I
gonna
put a
fly.
small sign that says 50 pesos per signature. No, and then everybody like, what the fuck? You
What the
want me
hell is
to pay
this?
50
And it's like,
pesos for your signature?
and you're like, sorry man, it's not erasable. It's permanent, bro. You gotta do.
You can sell it on eBay, man. But that's what you want. That's what you keep saying, right?
Signed by the artist. Loser mangaka signed my shit.
Yeah.
But um, oh, that's one thing I want to ask you though.
What?
Um,
How many times I've gotten asked, like, I know, told na, bebenta
sign?
ko
No,
yung comics mo.
no. Not to get signed. Like, has anyone ever asked you to like make like a shout out in your comics? Not just sign it, but like did they ask for like a special message or something
Ah,
like, to
yeah.
put you on the spot?
Yeah.
Oh, can you make a special message out to my friend who couldn't come today? And I'm like, um, okay. Like then your mind like goes blank. Like, what the fuck am I gonna write here? Hey man,
I,
how you doing there, sport?
I don't know if you felt this way during your first convention, pero during my yung first Indicate, I did this thing wherein I overly researched convention culture. Like, I checked like what are the mannerisms, what to do, like that type of bullshit. When I joined, when I was gonna do the convention, kaya yung sa convention, like I knew na I have to like keep explaining the plot of my comics. I have to give them my business card. I have to be smiling and be like, hello, hi, like sales talk them. And then another thing that I had to learn was like, if they buy my comic, I have to sign it. That way they'll be touched and be like, oh. So one thing I also had to get used to was like writing a message. Dahil I've like yung parang ano, tawag dito, may dedication lagi whenever I sign a comic.
Mm,
So
dedication, yeah.
yeah, so my like I had this basic phrase wherein I just say, uh,
Ooh,
stay awesome,
nice.
stay
Love.
awesome. Yun lang, stay awesome. Kasi ayaw ko magsasabi ng thank you lagi. Parang sobrang redundant yung thank you, eh.
Yeah,
Yeah, stay
short.
awesome
Yeah, short
lagi.
and sweet. Hey,
And
awesome. That's nice. It's cute.
and
I like it.
and during my bad puns days, what I did was I would, if their name would give me a pun, I would write a pun on the dedication. That way,
I love it. I love
yeah,
that. I like that. I like that. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I had to get used to that type of
That's
mindset.
so for me, JB and Aljon, we didn't do
Yeah.
any fucking research for our first convention. Like we just went in there with our comic. Like it's nice. It's pretty cool. Like we didn't even look at any other tables like until we like sold
Finished,
at least
yeah.
a few of our comics. Yeah. Well, we sold like we actually sold out relatively quick. That's only because like we were the new kids on the block. So
Yeah.
no one's ever seen our shit before. So it's like, oh, cool, this is new. I've never seen this before. I'm getting it. So obviously that would for sure sell out.
And
And then after that, the next few cons, less and less. You're not gonna sell out, anymore until you get new shit.
pero
Which is why
compared to me, you guys, kasi ano group nyo, you guys have you guys have the energy of like getting to convince people to buy your shit. Eh. Like you
that's
guys
because
are
there's four of us
free.
at one table.
Yeah. I feel that.
You're alone.
Yeah. Like I had no friends at that time.
Yeah.
And I can say like I could have told like I had no friends at the time. And I could say na ano like it's because of if when you're like yung sa inyo like your group is the reason you guys do well was when nag-table tayo sa ToyCon. Yung ano first time natin yung pinakilala mo sa akin sila Kurt and others. Yung first time natin
Mm.
makasama sila Amos and yung first time natin nakilala sa Amos and si
Yeah, we were
Andrew.
all in one row. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and it was because of that na parang, okay, we could,
Having friends is cool.
yeah, because
Yeah.
you were like doing the guitar shit. Tapos we were all, I feel like it's because we were like all the same age, and like whenever like we find
Different.
people our age, we
Yeah,
could
yeah.
like relate to them. Like, hey, you're like pink guy. What's that? Yung mga memes and meme culture shit.
I
We were like
remember.
relating hard to like the people. Yeah, it was parang
Mm.
the vibe that we were giving off was like, yeah, we doing well, we
Yeah,
make
yeah,
that
yeah.
money. Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
only toy
I
con that I
remember.
enjoyed
Yeah,
there.
I remember that was the first. Yeah, I remember that was the first time that I actually like. I feel like that was the first time I got into convention culture,
Yeah.
having made friends with my booth mates. Because like in our first few cons, it was just really me and my
And the
you know
boys.
my
My
yeah,
squad.
and my boys, the booth, the people in my booth. We didn't really
Yeah.
interact with people from other booths,
Yeah.
like the ones beside us, until you guys,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you and Amos, Jeff, everyone there. It's only until then that I realized, like, oh shit, we're a community. Like
Yeah,
until then, we were
that'd be
just
true.
thinking. Sorry, before that, we just kind of just kept to ourselves, which was fun. But when we met you guys, we got even a lot more fun. You remember we'd just be like, hey, check out bad puns over here.
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
yeah. And
Yeah.
like while I had this line of people to draw, you were like, paparazzi, yeah, or like just singing
Uh,
songs while everybody was like
yeah.
having a good time, and it was good. Yeah. Then you wanna,
Oh, oh, I see. Everyone was having a good time until he started playing guitar. you
nah,
dick, dick. I'm kidding.
ano ba yun?
You know, a lot. You know, a lot of people like thought we were like doing that as like a gimmick to get more people to come by. But
Wasn't it?
no, it was not. We were just fucking bored. We were like thinking like,
Really?
yeah, it's like the first few cons, we were just like sitting there doing nothing, and we didn't want to be one of those people like
Sleeping.
no, 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 no. Well, yeah, that too. But like, you know what I mean? Like
Like dazed, just like
people are
staring.
like that, and but most importantly, what we didn't like most is when people were like shouting like, extra, extra, read all about it. Come to our booth, read our comics. Bili na po kayo. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. This isn't a fucking, you know, market. You're not
Yeah,
buying
yeah.
fresh meat. You're not buying fresh meat here. Parang ginawang palengke yung, ano, which
Yung
in a weird
convention.
way is kind of, in a weird way, it's kind of cool, very Pinoy. Ginawang palengke yung convention, but
Yeah.
no.
I mean, it scares people. Scares
Scares
customer.
exactly.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you
yeah,
hear some dude like on his you're already on his booth.
yeah.
You're already browsing, and then you hear some guy pop, "Bili na po kayo," and I'm like, "Am I buying your rice?" you know,
Actually, that's one of the things I learned like over the years. Like, I've went from being super talkative, like sales pitch, to ngayon I'm like, you can browse, and
see,
then
there's nothing wrong.
I
Yeah,
don't talk
yeah,
anymore.
yeah, for sure. Like there's nothing wrong with a little sales pitch, but I just don't like it when you get too pushy. Like
Yeah,
talking with the customer is fine, but don't push your fucking product in their face while they're trying to like look at your shit already. They're already on your booth. And if they're not on your booth, if they're just walking by, leave them alone. Just
yeah,
fucking let their eyes do the fucking work. Cause like, let's say you do catch someone's attention with your fucking big mouth. They go to your booth out of, just for the sake of entertaining your fucking sales shouting, and then they just end up looking for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then they leave. And
yeah.
it's like
It's
they don't buy
annoying
shit.
and like especially it gets tiring eventually. Like if you're
Yeah,
always
exactly.
sales
It's
talking.
exhausting. Like
Yeah,
wasting you're sitting there like 8 hours.
yeah,
Like if it's a 2 day con, you're sitting there for like 8 hours a day, and it's like I don't want to fucking waste my breath on this. So really, if anyone just like looks at the shit, like that's the only time I stand up and like I'm
do
ready for
that.
questions. And then
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
ask
You
like,
can.
"Oh,
You're just
comic
like that.
about,"
So, like if you see them reading it and then you can sense they're waiting for you to like say something. That's when you talk. You don't always have to
yeah,
like force
yeah,
them
yeah,
every knowledge or
yeah.
every info. Yeah.
And that's actually why I think, and me and JB and Kirk and everyone have talked about this. Us at like our group, me and my
Yeah.
group. We always like we always talk about your comics, like bad puns. We always say
Yeah.
how genius that is. Like fucking this guy, he knows he has a hook and he's using it. Like you, oh, and especially that one thing you did before back then,
Crappy
crappy drawings.
drawings, yeah.
You genius motherfucker. I know what you're
Dude, I
doing.
learned that from
self
your ano eh.
self-deprecation, and monetizing it. Oh, you son of a bitch! Genius,
Dude, I
genius.
also learned from yung ano, yung we'll draw anything and yung mga pitch nyo na we can draw anything you want. What do you want? What do you want, huh?
Yeah. Because like that was actually I got that idea from realizing how good artists JV and Aljan were. Because
Yeah.
like during these times, I didn't do commissions yet. It was just really
Yeah.
them.
You
But
sucked at
then I
drawing.
realized, thank you, shut the fuck up. And uh, so since they drew Aguila and they drew the interior pages, people would see
Yeah.
that shit and I'd be like, oh, they do commissions too here, and they're like, oh wow, and then I'd be like, oh, if you're wondering what their art side looks like, just look at the comics. If they didn't have, because at the time we didn't really have prints,
Yeah.
we just had the comic, so we didn't really sell anything else for the first few months. It was just the comic, and we're so lucky that we broke even from those. Because breaking even means we get to join the next con.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There are times where we didn't break even, and I kind of had to use money from our own pockets to just
Yeah.
fund the con itself.
Yeah.
Um, and it's hard, but it's also part of the experience, like being
You
exhibited.
don't always
It's,
win
yeah, you don't always win, and in
unless
the
you're fucking
Philippines,
popular. Yeah.
you're, you're never gonna win. which is why I say, like, in America, it's fucking crazy. They charge $15 for a fucking quick sketch. Um,
Man, I
and then
want
they
to do
charge
that.
like, yeah, they charge their indie comics for like $5, and I'm like, pretty expensive for an indie comic. Like fucking Marvel and DC sell their comics for $3 or some shit, or $4 already. But like it's only because they already have a master following that can
Yeah, and
fund
and they mass
that
produce naman
that
yung comics
price.
eh. So,
Exactly. So basically, the indie scene is just more like they're matching the prices of established franchises,
yeah.
not because they want to, but it's because they have to make their money back, and
Yeah.
it's expensive to print your own comics, so they have to price it this way.
Mas mahal yung comic printing sa US eh, if I'm not mistaken. Was that thing ko cost? No,
But
no,
if you
no.
mass produce it, you can sell it for cheap and
Yeah, but
make your money back.
all of them,
Which the
more or
indie,
less, gets their comics printed in China para lang mura. Which, not really. It's still expensive as fuck.
didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Because like
Well,
that doesn't make sense to me. Like you print shit in China and then they ship it to you, pay
yeah,
for
they
shipping.
no, it's
Shipping
basically
shipping's a bitch.
yung like 1,000 or 2,000 copies. Like they get it printed that amount and they get it shipped. Kaya maybe like
Yeah,
majority
yeah.
sa mga indie they do Kickstarters para lang to fund that shit, which is
Yeah.
why I'm
See,
familiar.
that's another thing. The whole crowdfunding thing. That's a very recent trend
And it
and invention.
works. Yeah.
It works if you can amass the following, but can you imagine the work put into it, like gathering that following?
Yeah. I can't.
I sure don't have. Yeah, I can't either. I don't have the fucking patience or the time to do that shit. I have a job, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not even like I want to. It's not even like I'm trying to say like my job is more important. It is though, but at the same
Yeah.
time,
It's
I
too much
can't
like
just like
yeah, you can't risk your livelihood way
I
too
can't
much. Yeah.
risk. Yes, I can't risk my livelihood to like quit that um and go just focus on comics. I did that for 1 year after graduating. I tried to do just
Yeah.
like graphic
Me.
design on the side to fund my comics, which
Yeah.
is like
Hard.
once you're fucking out of college, the allowance stops, and you're like figuring out, oh fuck, how am I gonna pay for my comics now?
That true,
And
that
it's like,
true.
yeah, because I don't know if you knew this, but I started conventions 2015. That was I was still in CSB at the time,
Oh wow.
so yeah, with JV
Ayaw
and
nga no.
Aljan, so we were
Oh,
all yeah, we are all
yeah.
from CSB, and at the time, you know, we aren't the fucking rich kids people make out CSB kids to be. You know, like we paid for our shit and we didn't make our money back.
You
That
guys,
sucks.
you guys are the 1% of not rich kids and CSB.
It's not even 1%. I don't get why people think CSB are full of. Okay, fine. You know what? Yeah, it is full of rich kids, but you guys, we are not part of them,
Yeah,
and
you're the one
it's not one
percent in
percent.
the 1%.
Make it like 3%. You know?
Yeah, I
But
guess.
yeah, but you see what I mean? Because like there's a lot of CSB people in CS in the convention scene.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but there's a
Ah,
lot of CSB people,
yeah.
and my God, they reek of rich kid
Rich
fucking
kid
energy. Like
vibes.
yeah, and it's no
Yeah.
coincidence. It's no coincidence that these are all the fucking merch people too.
Yeah, true that. I mean, they're
I
the
do
ones
not know another CSB person exhibitor
they're the
that's
ones who are able to like
oh, sorry,
yeah.
no, sorry, I'm interrupting you, but
Okay
let me
lang.
just finish my thought. There's I was gonna say I don't know another CSB person who exhibits and sells comics other than me and my group. But then I realized I know another person. It's a girl. Her name is Motsi Dapul, and
Not
she makes like
familiar.
not familiar. Okay,
Yeah.
she makes like Philippine mythology,
Ooh.
romance themed comics. Yeah,
Nice.
that's her main thing. Filipino mythology and romance drama. That's her comics. So that's another CSP person at least. But other than
Me
her,
I
can't
have
think of
like
one.
I already have like I kind of like build off like a bias towards like uh whenever I see like a group of like college or a group an art group in specifically Comic Cat mostly, I'm like, okay, that's a group of CSB people, and actually is most of the time it's always the group the young people who are joining are CSB people, and it's amazing. It amazes me that it's mostly merchandiser people,
Hmm.
and they do
Well,
have that they do reek of that money vibe that you
yeah,
mentioned.
like parents funded the printing of my comics.
Not the comics, like I could say yung table mismo lang, or like they
Oh, you
don't
mean like yeah,
they don't need to worry about commuting kasi may
might have
taga
it's sundo,
uh yeah.
or kung kaya grab na lang kung hindi ka kamahal. Because like there's that like I can tell you right now, I
Yeah.
never fucking get like Grab or back then when Uber was still available. Like I never got that shit for cons. I take regular taxis because like it's way too much. Yung patong ng
Oh,
Uber tsaka
yeah. Pero I switched to Grab dahil ano lang eh. It's faster na to get a taxi, right? Kasi tayo na. I'm from the south eh, so like whenever I try
that makes sense.
stopping,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
My
If
it's
you're that far, sulitin mo na. Might as
yeah,
well, di ba?
yeah.
Kasi I always live near
Ayaw
the
nga no,
conventions, lalo
yeah.
na sa Bayanihan, like yung Comic Con. I live like 20 minutes away from Bayanihan Center. So it's like, I don't want to take a Grab for this, pay an extra 200 just for,
Which
just for the
yeah,
luxury of booking it
yeah.
right to my, yeah, I just rather like
And
wait outside with all my fucking shit and then wait for the cab, you
dude,
know.
yeah,
Oh,
I had to like experience commuting so hard dahil sa mga conventions. Like how to
mhm.
bring all my merch into like into one backpack. That way I'm not like lugging around so much shit.
So yeah, that's good that you travel light. But I don't know if you noticed, but
You don't,
me and
yeah.
my group,
I know this.
we always have like maleta,
Yeah, yeah,
container,
yeah.
diba?
I
And
avoid I used to have
so
a maleta pero yung parang backpack na maleta. That way I can still
nice.
travel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kasi I take the
But
train eh. It's so fucking heavy.
see, that's the thing. I've commuted like twice or 3 times. in all the conventions I've been to or exhibited at, bus, and it's all for Comic Con.
Yeah, yeah, kasi Sentries.
That's the Centris.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I figured, you know what, Centris isn't that hard to go to. It's just EDSA and then one straight line. So I tried it.
Yeah.
So I took my nakamaleta pa rin ako. I walked to the tricycle, and then the tricycle took me to a jeep, and then the jeep took me to the bus, and bus to Centris, and I just walked. And I'm like, that was a hassle, but
Ah,
it's
okay.
cheaper than
Yeah.
taxi. So because
Yeah.
like a taxi from there to my place would be like 200 pesos, and I'm like, fuck, I can save 400 a day if it's a 2 day con, and then yeah, I kind of just like commuted for the first few comic-ets, but then I realized this is way too much work. Fuck this. I'm just gonna pay a cab. I don't care if I break even or not.
Sometimes it do be like that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, you know, starving art, starving artist, just starving artist shit.
You see them
You
starving
know,
artists, pero naka-Starbucks.
wait, di ako nag-Starbucks pag dito ko. Jollibee lang.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I do see that. Like I see that when I go around. It's like these people are selling their art, and it's like they have Starbucks, and I'm like, I wonder, like, did you sell that much, or
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
just like, can you afford it? Like, I need to know. Like, am I doing something wrong here? Should I do what you're doing?
I mean, people who do merchandise, they make a lot of money. Like more than
Yeah,
me. And
yeah, because
and that's one
yeah,
of the
it's
things that I kind of like feel sad about because like I can never reach that amount.
you could if you just went their route, but
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that in a like I'm not trying to say like they sold out or anything, or I'm not telling you to sell out or anything. It's a market, and you have to adapt. So
Yeah.
you do you in your best interest, and if that means selling more merch, then fuck it, do it. If it makes money, you're still doing art. It's not what you want to be doing per se, but if it's paying for the bills, or in this case the tables, the booths, then do it. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that I'm just saying not the market's getting saturated, and it's not going to give enough limelight to the stars, which is comics, you
But
know.
nadal
And
yeah. Nalalo ko lang ano side note. Tayo tatlo ni Amos. We shared yung mga pizza na buy one take one.
oh
Kasi we were
shit,
so fucking
yeah.
hungry and broke.
Oh, that was- that's I think that's the best deal as
we
like
buy
con.
two buy one take one, so someone gets another one,
Yeah,
and then we all get one
yeah, yeah.
each. It's kind of okay, but like oh
Yeah.
man, we're this broke. We gotta.
Or just, bro, 55 pesos buy one take one pizza. Two choices, Hawaiian or like bacon.
Yeah, yeah, and it's always a bacon that's out,
I
always
love
like
that.
Hawaiian.
Yeah,
Uh,
SM convention memories. Um, yeah, but like, yeah, you make a good point. Like, shit, what was I saying right before this? What were we talking about?
uh, fuck. Something about the
Yeah,
Starbucks. I just remember the Starbucks lang.
it's fine. Yeah, it's 4:30 a.m. guys. If you're listening to this, it's 4:30 a.m.
Yeah. This
We're
is
not
not
really up.
planned at all. We're just going with the flow.
Yeah, what were you doing before this anyway? By the way.
I was playing games. I play FPS games.
Oh yeah, what do you
It's
say?
called Valorant.
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 Ah,
I'm one of them
gotcha.
people. Yeah, I do
One
the
of them.
grind there. I'm like one of them.
Valorant.
I'm going pro, guys. I'm gonna be the next shroud.
Ooh,
No, just kidding.
ooh. You know, Kirk plays Valorant. You
Ooh,
should invite him.
I should. Pero
Yeah, he just started too, so I think perfect. Like if
damn.
you can like, yeah, if you can like have a normal party wherein the two of you work together. Because like
Nah,
I noticed
I
like
get toxic
having
a
even
lot.
having just one person you can talk to
Yeah,
in
yeah,
a
yeah.
team
Helps.
changes the game. Yeah,
Yeah,
it helps versus like a group of random ass motherfuckers.
yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, For me, it's the games I've been. By the way, that's the PS4 I play on. I don't even have a
Nice.
fucking. I don't even have a
T-
place to put it. I just put it on a chair.
yeah, that's
Yeah, and yeah, as you can see, I haven't even played on it in forever. That I just put stuff over the PS4
that's some good maintenance right there.
for sure. Yeah, but there's no dust or anything. It's just I just put stuff on top. I think that's my passport too. If you can see it,
You ready?
passport's on.
You going out of the country?
I was supposed to.
Oh
Before
yeah.
COVID,
Uh.
yeah, before COVID, my sister and I were supposed to go to either Spain or Japan.
Ooh. Sad. 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 Sad.
Yeah, yeah, and then COVID happened, the fucking lockdown happened, and
Yeah.
everything
I
else.
mean, I was so
But to be
excited for Cebu because Comic at Cebu was. It was like about.
honest,
I was so because it was March when nag lockdown, and I was so close to buying a ticket on during March, and buti na lang I held out in like not buying a ticket kasi you know it's hard not to get those
were you?
refunds.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Comic at Cebu. I've been meaning to ask you shit about that because like the
It's the
first
best
Comic at Cebu I
place.
did. Well, I haven't been to any of the Comic at Cebu's, but
Yeah,
yeah.
your
For
name was
regarding the
there.
first, my name. Well, see, the thing is, I just worked as the one of the graphic designers for Comic Ed part time.
Yeah,
I did most of the time. I just did your IDs and the posters, like the shit that you post on Facebook for everyone to see.
yeah, I
Yeah, I
know.
made those half
Nice.
the time. It's either me or some other dude or girl, and then naturally I'd get a spot like in the booths.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But for Comic at Cebu, I didn't go. Um, I didn't go just because of my day job. Like I couldn't
Ah,
afford.
sad.
Yeah, I couldn't afford my day job, and like I think you guys stayed there for like a little less than a week, but still, it's like what
Me, I stayed a week last year. Pero
a
most of the
week.
time it's just like 3 days, like the whole weekend, Friday to Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I couldn't afford to miss work for that.
Uh,
Um,
Sad.
yeah, because like
It was super
yeah, it's
fun.
really sad.
I feel
As
like
much as I wanted to.
that's the closest convention I ever got to like or event wherein madaming foreigner na bibili. Kasi ano we were at a mall, Ayala
Oh yeah, it's a
Mall.
tourist.
So
Yeah, and it's a tourist
yeah,
attraction. So
tourist attraction. So puro there were plenty of Japanese, Koreans, even some
oh
US.
yeah,
Yeah. That's good kasi there's so much like everybody's like surprised whenever they see mga convention there. They're like, "Ooh, wow, such thing exists."
ooh, what's over here?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
what? I thought comics was dead. Wow, nani? Yeah, so it's really it's a good place. Yeah, that's
you
why
know what
that's
I wish.
what.
You know what I wish happened for conventions here in the Philippines. I wish they were government funded.
I mean, there was that one, the one that failed so badly. Yung Comic Con Asia.
Do you want? Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, 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 that one.
That was one that failed so
See, that's
badly.
that's yeah. See, the thing is with Comic Con Asia, they just like, oh my God, Gio,
What?
that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what's happening right now.
Yeah, with the
I don't
like the
want to say
money.
it
Yeah, yeah. Like
with the, like that's kind of what's happening with the whole art
manipulation.
market scene.
Ah,
It's
yeah.
becoming a bazaar.
Ah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
becoming
yeah.
a bazaar. With Comic Con Asia, it's just a bazaar of like different bullshit, not even related to art at this point.
Ah, yeah. I
Um,
mean, the best example is History Con, man. Remember that shit?
I do remember that shit.
You had
To
like
be fair, I didn't do
well,
fun,
you had
I
the
did.
saddest spot, which is the exit.
Yeah,
That
but like,
was
you know what I
stupid.
mean? Because of that, we had a lot of traffic, foot traffic there. So
Kasi
technically,
paalis na
it's kind
sila
of like
eh. Mga
yeah, yeah,
taong
yeah,
paalis.
exactly. But at the same time, they'd be going through and they'd be like, "Oh, there's a table we didn't see," and then they
Yeah.
start
Yeah, you guys are obligated, like the people are obligated to see you guys when they leave.
exactly. So kind of a double-edged sword,
Yeah. Yung
you know.
pwesto, yung,
And
yung, yung pwesto namin sucked eh. The original spot you were in, we weren't being seen
I
at all.
remember
Yeah.
your area was It's a maze.
Yeah,
It's
it was like an alley, a legit alleyway where people just
yeah.
like find their way to the restroom or like or hiding from like the main crowd, and then they were like,
No,
"What
no,
the
no.
fuck?"
I remember the original. Excuse me. I remember the original layout for the artist alley of History Gone.
Yeah,
It was just like a way for people to go through the next area.
yeah. So it's we were legit just an alleyway.
Yeah, like people saw the tables, but like they were just like trying to get. I just want to get through this fucking maze. I want to
Yeah,
see the shit. You know.
like
Like I think that was bad. That was a bad decision on the
it was terrible.
convention planner. It was a bad idea for the like
Yeah,
convention planners. If you're watching now, don't do that. Don't force the artist alley tables on people like that, making a maze for people to go through. See that's another thing. They made that maze to maximize space for the
main
exhibitors.
yeah.
Like they made it so that people can just like go along with the maze instead of like having them in individual tables, spaced
Yeah.
apart. They made one long maze and did fucking Jesus and the Last Supper on on each maze road. Like magkatabi sila lahat. I remember how close you were to sila Jeff and shit
Yeah,
in the maze booth,
yeah. It was
and I
so
was like, this
stupid,
is not
guy.
comfortable. And I remember, do you remember do you remember Fred,
Fred, the black guy.
the black guy? Yeah, the
Yeah.
black guy, the one with
Wala
the
siya
tan.
sa history ko na. Or was he? I don't think he was.
I'm pretty sure he was, because
Ah,
like,
okay, yeah. Sige.
yeah, if it's not him, then I'm sorry, but like I remember him having like a really bad spot in
Ah,
that
yeah.
maze. Like he was at the corner of the maze, like the corner, meaning it's a very awkward position to have. Like you don't know where to face, here or here.
Yeah. I think that was also part where in you were like originally placed. Like there's like a corner, and then there's like a small gap in that corner where like they place another table.
Mhm.
Wherein you have to
Yes,
like go in the corner just to visit your table, and that was like when you were.
exactly. So you,
I was like your complaint to the organizers. Like you showed them your spot, and they were like, "Oo nga no, like
oh,
what the fuck?"
hmm. And yeah, I remember that. Like, are you serious? You're surprised? You planned this
And then they're okay. We're gonna put you somewhere else. Places you at the exit by yourself.
by ourselves. Well, technically, it was me,
No, that was on day
JB,
one, eh?
Kirk.
Diba? That was 4 days. That was a
Yeah,
4 day
at
event.
least can you imagine if it was a 4-day event and we did kind of did get a space all to ourselves next to the exit, but all to ourselves nonetheless.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I said, thinking about it now, I didn't do that bad in HistoryCon. It was pretty good, to be honest, and I think mainly because of the position.
Kami,
Like, especially when they like, I don't think I told anyone this, but on the second day of HistoryCon, they actually one of the organizers came up to me. They were
no, that was
apologizing
because
for
you
the
guys
bad
were like,
spot.
you were super visible, kaya organizers
We
came
were
to
on day
you.
one, yeah. On day one, we were super pissed, but on the second day, they were apologizing, and we were like, yeah, fine, whatever, it's good. And they were like saying, we kind of made space, we made changes in the booth, so there is actually like a good spot for you now. Meaning, someone didn't like come that day. Like I feel like someone didn't just
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, I remembered how the narrow the maze was.
Yeah.
And then I went back there and I saw the traffic of people. Like the maze was so narrow, so people stopping to check for shit would be,
Blocking the way, yeah.
cumbersome to the next people
Yeah.
like fucking going through. It would be, and I'm like, that's hell. Like you would
Yeah.
max two people looking at your shit. You know, God forbid they take 5 minutes to look at your shit. But yeah, that's no way to go. In those 5 minutes, like 50 people walk by already.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
that's not. So so I actually when I went there, I'm like, you know what? I think I'll stick
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
exit.
Actually,
The exit.
yung exit yung exit spot mo was really good kasi you had so much
Traffic. Yeah,
room.
yeah.
Yung sa
And
amin,
when
what the only silver lining sa amin sa HistoryCon was because we had the best deal. So for what I know is that we got like 4 tables for like half the price. And it was like
why
good for eight
how
people because we haggled. I haggled because when they reached out to me first, and then they
mm,
gave me like a price. Like one table was originally I think 15K or 10K. That was like so expensive. I had to
mm,
tell them it's expensive. And then they were like, what's your budget po, sir? And I had to tell them na most original some mga comic at na price, which is like I think they said 3K for
five?
like
Yeah,
3K for
3K for a single. Yeah,
for like
single exhibitor.
2 meter table. That's what I told them. And then they were like, okay, we can
Okay,
do, which is equivalent to like 2 tables na eh. Kasi 'di ba ano, they give you like that small half table shit. Yeah, so I told them
I hate
na
that.
they ended up offering me was 3K for a 2 meter table. And then I was like, okay, we'll get two of those. And then so we spent like
Oh,
yeah,
bitch.
so we spent like 6K lang and it was good enough for 8 people. We were seven pala.
That's
Yeah, it was
some
good
that's
enough for
that's
seven
some yeah,
people. So like all we spent was like
that's some genius.
around 800 per person lang.
Yeah, yeah. That's some genius haggling though. Like
Yeah.
you're like 15K is way too much for my budget,
That
and
that
they're
was
like,
like
oh, okay, well, how much can we do?
yeah, that was like 3 months
And then
before
you're like,
the event. And then when
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
event was like super close, they were like, "Oh, sir, the original price is like this," and that 6K that was our original price suddenly became 14, and then I was like, "What? We agreed on
What?
6. I signed a
Why didn't they?
contract that said 6." And they were like, "Ah, shit, sige." And I found out like you guys paid
Oh,
5 for
that.
like one table lang, no? 5 or 3, I don't know, but
Yeah,
something like that. And then
something like that. Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, oh my god, we haggled the fuck out of this place. Everybody's paying way too much, and yeah, we felt bad for that guy. We
Props.
had to like expose the organizers. Nah, uh, they had no like fixed prices, and then everything was all under haggle. So it's so
Yeah, man. I
you
mean,
know.
don't fucking feel bad, man. Fuck it. Exploit the system. Like they're charging in the first place. They are charging Western like rates
Yeah.
for booths in our Southeast Asian fucking third world country ass market, and I'm like, what are you doing?
I think they were copying
Are you
Asia Pop,
trying?
eh. Yeah, they were copying Asia Pop rates, which was like super high.
Again, same sentiments to Asia Pop. Like
Yeah,
you're
Western.
charging not first, you're charging first world country rates to a fucking third world country event. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that
You know,
actually
I get that.
that
You
was a
know,
problem I had with Asia Pop was like the whole dollar rates, and I was like, why the fuck are we spending in dollar? And we had to
what do you mean?
wire transfer that shit. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the thing with that is like, I
It's
feel like they're
shady
just
as
trying to
hell.
like make the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to make because like the dollar rate is high, so that's why they want the fucking they don't want no goddamn Philippine peso
Yeah.
in our shit economy. Why would they want
I
that,
mean,
right?
they've been doing conventions. They that was like what 3, 4 Asia Pops already, and they still haven't
Mm,
like, oh, well, let's get a local bank. Like, nah, let's still stick with the wire transfer to our
yeah,
New York City
it's the
bank
cheapest.
where
Yeah,
everybody would
it's the
pay.
cheapest way.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we all had
it's
to
the
like
cheapest way
pay an
for them.
extra $15 just for like wire transfer fees, which was like
Exactly.
painful.
So that it's so that they don't have to deal with the fucking hassle of dealing with our fucking shitty local banks.
Yeah, it's annoying as hell, man.
It's annoying, but at the same time, you know, they're running a business, and there wasn't any other, you know, convention at the time to be like, you know what, your con sucks. I'll just stick with this con. And even then, when
Yeah,
History Con came out, it was just a
uh,
slightly, mm, it was organized, um,
yeah.
not not as well.
Wasn't that good
I mean, that's
organized as
the
well?
word. Yeah, it wasn't that well organized as Asia Pop Comic Con, but that wasn't saying much. Like both
Yeah,
didn't really handle the independent artists well, is
yeah.
what I'm saying.
They
Everything
were,
else, it's I don't give a fuck. Like the merch people, I don't really care how their shit was handled. But I all I know is I'm part of the creative circle or the artist alley. That's where all my fucking care and consideration, you know, goes in. And in our experience, I'm pretty sure we weren't handled that well.
well,
You know,
I tried to get treated the best as I could because I'm losing my
exactly,
character.
exactly. And you did what you had to do, and no one can blame you for that. Like for God's sakes, did you see the booth? Did you see the booths for Asia Pop Comic Con? When you saw the booths for Asia Pop for the first time, weren't you
Yeah.
just pissed on how small the tables were? Like those were the
Ah, yeah.
smallest tables
The
in any
1 meter
con.
table. Yeah.
I don't think it was even 1 meter. Do you remember like
It
the
was like
booth for
two
the
point
fucking table?
five
It's like
feet.
this big.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, 2.5 feet or some shit. And I'm like, there's fucking five of us, man. Like,
yeah.
fucking five of us here. We can't
Yeah.
draw on this. I remember Aljon and JV had to draw on like I bought them clipboards, motherfucker. I bought them clipboards just so they could draw on their laps or like change the angle when they felt like it. If they needed more light, they can just do this or that. And I drew, and I just stayed on the table so I could, handle talking to customers or Kirk if I had to draw. Kirk would be the one to
Yeah.
like talk to people.
I was
But you see
lucky
what I mean?
I was lucky that I had a friend who was familiar with Asia Pop and their
Like
experience was to bring their own table. Kasi the table
that.
that was
Okay, so
offered was like small as shit, man. You're able
yeah.
they're
So
able to maximize the space. Yeah.
yeah. So we didn't learn that lesson till the first, or
The
till the
next
second
yeah.
Asia Pop Comic. We brought another table to the next Asia Pop Comic and another chair.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it was still such a hassle. Imagine we had to fucking lug that thing around,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
rather I did technically. Um, yeah,
Imagine bringing the table home though. Like if you're gonna
I brought the
commute,
table.
no, like a
Well,
6 feet table.
you know when I
You have to fold that shit up, and it's like fuck, so fucking heavy.
yeah. To be fair, I didn't really have that much trouble with with bringing the table home because all I had to do was like just put it in the cab, like in the trunk, and then sit down.
Ah yeah,
But
yeah,
the
yeah.
hard part was walking outside of the convention with the table and
Ah
everything
yeah.
else carrying it out. It's kind of a workout, but whatever. Especially since you were drawing all day, it's the last thing you want to
And
do. Use your hands,
and
walk.
that was like you're supposed to like rest na, kasi you've been to like what 2 3 days of hell, and then finally
Yeah,
going home like
and and that's 2 3 days of whole day conventions. Like you
yeah,
stay till closing just so you could maximize
the
your
profit,
experience.
yeah.
Not even the profits. Like you just want to also go around and shit.
Ah
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah. They give out a lot of free
APC,
stuff, yeah.
yeah, APCC was super fucking busy. Like I don't think a con has made us that busy ever, unlike APCC. Maybe Toy-Con. I was super busy at Toy-Con. We were busy at
Yeah.
Toy-Con,
I
remember?
feel like Toy-Con
Yeah,
tried
but
copying Asia Pop eh. Like they did like the whole inviting guests and other bullshit. But
you know what else Toy-Con did? They
what?
also raised the prices of
Ah
foods.
yeah, that was the annoying thing. Eh. Like they were treating us the same as fucking toy collectors, and then we were like, what? What the
They're in the
fuck?
same business, so they're trying to match their competitors, which makes sense. I can't blame them for that. What I can blame them for is um they've been doing this longer than APCC because they're the cons,
Yeah,
they're the conventions that was hosting the shit before APCC came. So the moment this foreign market lays down their prices, they feel like, what, we should do that too.
yeah. They
Like they
really.
suddenly forgot that, hey, your exhibitors are also Filipino, and we're also living in a shitty economy that doesn't pay us enough. What makes you think you can charge this much for us? We can't afford that shit. I mean, we can. We just had to do a lot of work to try to make that money back.
I feel like it's
Even just
also
the
what's that place called? SMX fault na rin kasi
convention center, yeah,
apparently they keep
SMX.
raising up their prices eh. Which is
Oh,
weird.
that I talked to someone about that, and they said it's because of the mall itself, not the convention owners. So they're raising the prices because the mall is raising the prices for the organizers to host their event there, not because they're trying to make more money. Same with
Oh,
APCC.
damn. Sad.
Yeah, so it became the original price for APCC was like 8K, then it
Yeah.
became 10, then it became
Yeah.
13, then it became 15, and
Yeah.
I was there through all that. you
Same.
know and, and then we ran out of ideas. Like we tried more prints, more merch, because
Ac-
why would we raise the price of our comics? That would be a dick move to
yeah, it's hard.
customers,
It's
right?
hard. It's hard to compromise.
So
Like tell yourself that shit. Since a print is the same price as our comic, we gotta raise the prices of our comics.
last year, yeah, and we had to at the very last Comic Con that we attended, we had to raise the price. We sold Aguila for like 150. We
150.
made it
Yeah.
like 200.
Oh
Yeah, 200.
man.
No, not 250. That's too much. But yeah,
Yeah.
from 150 to 200, we were like, fuck, this is basically, we're selling our shit as much as Marvel Comics, like 199 for like
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
issue
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's hard
like
compromise dahil din you're trying the reason why we sell comics like 100 150 100 being like the cheapest is because we want people to
yeah,
buy our comics. Which is so
yeah.
hard
It's like the
already.
cheapest compromise we can. Yeah,
Like we
like
work
honestly, I don't know how some of these exhibitors, like I see some exhibitors selling their comics for like 80 pesos to 90 pesos. I'm like, how? That's like the cost to print a comic like already. Like, how are you selling it this
most
price?
I found out like most of those people have their own printers and they're able to
Printing
like
press?
yeah, yung mga inkjet, yung office printer. Like they find a way to make that shit work. I don't know how. They have a lot of time to do that. And that's why they're able to
Is it
sell it
is
cheap.
it at least are they at least laser printers?
Uh I'm not sure. Pero all I can say it's like yung
Yeah, 'cause
inkjet printer, yung mga typical office type.
kasi for me, I don't think the inkjet shit. If that's, I honestly don't know anything about like the printing like
Yeah.
shit when it comes to like the technical side of that shit. But all I know is if it's not laser, I don't think it's worth printing because like it's like you're printing your school paper or something, and I don't want
Uh
that kind of quality getting into the comics. Like, have you seen the quality of comics for what's that comic called? Patay Kung Patay?
yeah. That was
That was good. That was nice.
that's
You feel
expensive.
it, and yet they only sell for like 120 or
No, they
something.
they they they
If I
mass
remember.
produce it. They like make 1,000 or 2,000 copies, and
And no
that's
wonder.
yeah, that's why it's
But
cheap.
Yeah, yeah. Well, cheap in the long
Ish.
run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, the initial payment it's a huge amount,
Yeah. Yeah.
which no one can afford, immediately on the go. But
That's true.
yeah, you make but yeah, exactly. You mass produce, and you don't have to sacrifice the quality.
Cost.
But
Yeah.
some of these people, if what you're saying is true, and they're just using regular ass printing, like the
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
sobrang bago lumabas.
And nagja-jump pa siya.
Jam out. Because when I print my comics or our
Yeah.
comics, when I print them, it comes out this fast. God, like
Yeah,
it's
Isa.
fast. Like
Isa ka, 'di ba?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Before after Isa, I found a place that ginawa naging suki ako. Pero like before shopping center burned down, I went there instead of Isa because the lines at Isa were just so long. And
Yeah.
this place also had laser
Is
printers,
that
so it's like, but fuck it,
DMG?
why not
I
here then?
forgot the name, yeah. Pero it's like something with a D.
Something like two stores down, two
Yeah,
stores
yeah, yeah,
down.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then like I also found out a lot of other people were also printing there,
Yeah, yeah,
comic
yeah.
people. It's just that they just go on different days,
Alam ko ano
and
eh,
it's just that
Isa kasi provides like a fast printing, like they'll do your shit instantly, while that other
parehas.
service they'll do it cheaper, but the problem is medyo pangit yung customer service. Like sometimes it
I,
like
I disagree. Sobrang bait nila sa akin, ah.
no,
Like
like yeah.
the one I'm talking about. I'm not sure. Maybe we're not talking about the same
No,
store,
it's
but
the same thing.
yeah.
Kasi sila Mel Kasipit, he gets the shit printed there. And he always has to be like super clear towards the person. Kasi if he isn't, he will come back there and then ma-realize lang niya di pa pala ready yung pinagawa niya kasi like someone forgot or like that
Mm,
type of shit.
mm,
But yeah.
mm. Ito ba yung ano? Ito ba yung si Manang, yung matanda?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, maybe. It's weird. It's a very weird
It
experience. Like
depends on the person, I
my
guess.
experience, I guess.
Kasi people
Ba't
there
tayo nila kay Mel?
there are people kasi who also go to Isa who are like super anxious for some reason. They're like, here's my USB, and then like they don't know how like una ano they make Isa do the layout kaya it's expensive because you guys fucking make them do the layout, and at the same time like they really get the customer service part on Isa that when they go to like other places like they don't know what to do, which is kind of sad, but
I mean,
understandable.
yeah, you can't blame the person
Yeah,
who drew the thing. If they're not tech savvy, then
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's what ESA's there for. What I don't like about ESA is they kind of like shit on you if
Monopolize.
you don't have your layouts ready. Like
Yeah.
nakalayout na ba yan? Like nakalayout na ba yan? And you're like, what? What does that mean? And they'll be like motherfucker, this is your job. You can't fucking give me attitude. Like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm paying you. I'm paying you. Holy shit, you
Yeah.
know? And
And
it
they'll
kind of
be
makes me feel like,
yeah, and
sorry,
also like they give you that type of attitude pero at the same time you are parang they will charge you for that. So but parang kailangan pa nila magbigay ng attitude when they could charge you for like the layout and I don't know. It's ano lang parang they eh.
no, I agree. That's also another reason why I don't go to ESA often. I still go to ESA from
Yeah,
time to time
when you want the
because,
speed.
yeah, sometimes, yeah, when you want speed, and sometimes the printer I go to, sometimes they're also doing big orders, like they're printing like hundreds of copies of whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, then I guess easy it is then. So I just kind of have to deal with, these as snarky employees,
Yeah.
you know, which can't beggars can't be choosers. It's all we have here in the Philippines, in Manila.
I also have to do the same thing kasi sa akin malapit lang yung printer ko sa South. And I always have to
Okay.
I always have to be like mentally prepared in dealing with them kasi una na eh, ito yung mga photocopy places kasi and it's always jam-packed with people kasi they're beside the school and madami nagpapa-print ng like thesis, schoolwork, yung mga ganun bullshit. So you have to like I know like they are all like snarky already, so I have to like how do I make sure that they do this thing properly and not fuck me over?
That's I didn't think about that. Like, would they go that far to sabotage your shit?
No,
I'm
like
kidding.
there are times kasi like even like with Isa, like you get something printed and then uh it's
It's not as good as
like either they don't like pay attention to like if they see like something's wrong with like the printing like they would fix it.
don't care. They, oh
That's
no.
the ideal. Pero like the bad times are like oh, okay they just make it print and like they just hand it over to you without checking. Not oh shit there are like plenty of misprints or like yung mga nagkalat yung ink yung
Oh
mga ganun na
no.
bullshit. That's why I have to like be
Oh
kind
no.
to them or else they might fuck up my printing. I'm like god damn it.
Oh no. Yeah,
But
I can imagine. Can you imagine spotting the error after they print everything already?
yeah,
And it's like, does that mean every single one? No.
I had a there's a I think I was ano eh, and I was doing like yeah, it was somewhere around Katipunan ako nagpa-print. I forget it wasn't easy, but it was so like they didn't check the printing, and then I just found like some there were plenty of sheets wherein fucked up yung pages, baliktad yung
Oh
printing,
no.
and then they were telling me to like go back there if I want to like get it redone, and I'm like, oh fuck that, like it was already a
Mm,
hassle like going there and just to get shit printed, and then like the commute back and forth is like annoying as fuck lang. So I'm like, I'm not gonna fuck it. I
for
have to
sure.
deal like might as well like suffer the losses na lang kaysa sa making more negatives. So printing so hard.
Mhm.
Well,
That's what you gotta do if you want to print your shit
yeah,
here.
yeah, you gotta hustle.
Either mass produce it. Yeah, either mass produce it or go through the struggle of going to the place, the printing place, wait in line if people are there, explain what you need to the people
Yeah.
to the to the employees who don't want to fucking hear it,
Actually,
and then yeah, just
the one thing that's
fuck it up.
annoying is like having to explain it is what you made and not because there are like some people who would think na you're just reprinting like manga online or like like bullshit reason and
Yeah,
when they look at your shit and like there's so much black they'll be like why is there so much black here huh explain yourself.
that happened to me once. That whole that so much black thing in like I think our first issue of Aguila.
Yeah.
I remember like I had to tell JV and Aljan to like, or rather just JV because Aljan was like he didn't really have that much shading, or it
Yeah.
wasn't that dark. But JV's um, part was super dark, so I had to tell them like maybe can you like up the brightness of the ink just to offset the fucking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
printing for Isa or whatever because
They
it's just
do
it's
get picky when it's like so much black. They'll be like,
super.
"You want a page that's just black." Yeah. Are you there? Hello. Oh no. Hello. Okay. Hello. I guess that's it. Yeah. JC freaking hanged up on me. Nah, that's him. That's his face. Let's appreciate that he has DC'd. I guess we could end it here now. Yeah. Weird way to end an episode, but it do be like that. And so anyway, 2 hours, so it's Gucci. Anyway, thank you for thank you. Oh well, back, JC. I'm about to end it na lang kasi you DC'd.
Yo, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna. We've been talking long enough na kaya it's okay to end it na. I'm about to like say anything to you wanna say before we head out.
I just yeah, I just want to say my computer died and this is what happened to it. Here, let me just I'm on my phone right now,
Yeah,
so
sure,
this is
sure. Explain
so
yourself.
this is what happened. Yeah, this is what happened. Fucking fucking crashed on me like in the middle of my sentence. I wasn't even looking at the screen. I was like looking somewhere and I just kept talking and I noticed you weren't talking anymore. And then
Yeah.
when I looked at my screen, I'm like, "Oh fuck. How long
That's
have
that's
I been
that's what
talking?"
that's what I noticed lang din with sa akin. Like I saw you were like I thought na disconnected ako ng internet pero you were just like standing still. But yeah.
Yeah. And all right, I well, I guess if you think that this is enough
Yeah, I
for the
mean we
podcast, I
talked for
guess.
2 hours. It's plenty enough, I
Okay.
guess. Thank
All
you
right. In that
again.
case, the last thing, the last thing I want to do is show you guys what it looks like for me talking to you.
Oh wow.
I had to put like my
Damn.
fucking cologne box on top of this fucking webcam,
Nice.
and then here's my cool mechanical keyboard. Whoa!
Nice. Show them the lights.
And then my work, and then my work keyboard. The lights. Good point. So I'll let you guys look at my work keyboard. It's shitty work
Yeah.
keyboard.
Work keyboard sucks,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But whatever. You know, weirdly enough, I love these mechanical keyboards. They feel so good to type on.
Yeah, I think the point of the mechanical keyboards is especially if you're like someone who grew up like having a computer
Yeah,
as a kid because like 90s keyboard are like that basically. Like the
yeah,
feeling is so good for that
yeah,
light, man.
yeah. Look at that shit. I can even change the lights to be honest. Like, here, hold on. Let
Damn.
me try changing the pattern
Parang ano lang
so I
yan
can
ah.
look like this.
Sa thing called MIDI pad. Yung with like what people do, yung mga DJs and shit.
Yeah,
That's
I
kind
know
of
what you
dope,
mean.
man. That's kind of dope. I need to save
I
up for
know.
something like that. No, no.
You can get one for like you can get one for 1K to be honest,
Ooh,
1 to 1.5.
nice,
This one's a
nice.
bit. This one's just a bit more on the expensive side, but
Kasi of the ilaw,
no, 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 not because of the lights.
the keys.
The the make of the whole thing.
Oh,
I don't know. Basta, it's a nice it's a really nice keyboard to be honest. Like I love it. And it's and it's hot swappable if you care about the
I don't know
terms.
what that.
Like you it's fucking switch. It's about like the fucking like. All right, how about this? I'll just show you. So underneath the keycaps are these fucking things called switches.
Ah, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So yeah, and then that's
It's
why you can
easier
press it.
to remove them, basically.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
basically, there are like hundreds of like switches, different kinds of switches, and like even more kinds of keycaps and shit. Yeah, it all attribute to the feel. Like it can be noisy, or these are different switches from the ones I have here. These are super quiet. Like here, you can hear like
The
it's
tonk.
very clicky, but yeah, the tonk. But if you hear the tonk on this one, you won't hear shit. Like here, if you do this, you
Yeah,
hear that, right?
between.
But here you don't hear anything.
Ooh.
Like I'll put it next to the mic,
Still
nothing.
can't hear
You don't
anything,
hear
but
shit.
yeah, yeah. That's cool.
Exactly,
Makes
exactly.
sense.
Yeah. So yeah,
Well,
yeah. Kirk's the one who got me into this, but whatever. I like it.
I
So
guess
yeah, that's my
yeah.
last. Those are my last words.
Yeah. Thank you for your
Keyboard.
keyboard, Carlo.
Yep.
Carlos. Thank you so
Carlos.
much for
Thanks for having me,
yeah.
Gio.
It's been great.
Good to see
Kit-
you. Good to see you.
Kita-kits sana ulit sa next convention.
Yeah, see you in 2022.
Yeah, sana. Tapos mahaba na
Yeah.
hair natin, no?
Oh, nga, I feel like I'm gonna get a haircut just. I never said I forgot to say, but like
Yeah.
your hair doesn't seem that much longer. But like it's
Uh,
long, but like it's not like, oh my God, Gia, who are you? That kind of long. Like I don't
yeah.
recognize you.
I'm trying to like make sure na my hair gets long enough na when I like enough na when I go to convention they'll be like, "Oh my God, it's been like since the pandemic since I've seen you." And I'm like, "Yeah."
If only you can if only you can grow a full beard.
Yeah, no, I try to shave them off because di siya ano eh, it just
But
gets thicker eh, my beard. It doesn't grow
consistent,
longer.
yeah.
It just gets thicker, which is not that cool.
Okay. That's still a Yeah, that's still a good funny look for after a pandemic. Like, what year is it?
Yeah. Yeah, like, wow, I have long hair now, and my voice became deep
Yeah.
for some reason. Ah. Anyway,
I do miss conventions.
yeah,
Yeah.
same.
To
Anyway,
see you guys
it's
again soon.
we get we gotta go. Thank you so much, Jason, Carlos.
Yeah, dude.
Jason. Who the fuck's
Yeah,
Jason?
dude.
JC.
Yeah, dude. It's Carlos. Who the fuck
It's
is JC? Like,
Carlos.
it's Carlos. Jeez,
Carlos.
God, get my name right.
Oh,
All
oh.
right.
Okay. Thank you for
Thanks,
watching.
man.
Bye
I'm
bye.
not watching. I'm on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm telling the viewers, man, not you.
Oh, you have viewers. I'm
Ah,
kidding. I'm
ah,
sorry.
Nani? Okay.